back, this portion of the training is all about drying. Now, drying to me is super important, just like everything else, but I really want the car to be absolutely dry. Not any streaks in the paintwork. Glass aside, so we'll touch on glass afterwards, because glass, it can be quickly dried, and then I normally do my glass at the end. Now, drying the paint and pretty much getting all the water out of these seams, and basically any of the edges, specifically around the doors and anywhere where there's rubber seams, is where a lot of the water is going to be held. And the last thing that you want to do is drive off and have that trickle of water come through and basically ruin all of your hard work. So there's two methods that I live by. Now, you guys can stick by just the drying towel, and we also sell these great drying towels. They're quite thick and won't scratch the vehicle, and they absorb quite a lot. They actually weigh, on a dry weight, they weigh a couple of 100 grams as it is. Okay, it's very important to get the right drying towel, because the last thing that you want is to use a drying towel and you're having to wring it out, you know, halfway through drying the car. Okay, now, yes, it's no surprise, the green and black does represent a brand that we probably all know, or all should know, and it's the Big Boy. Now, my choice of Big Boy dryer is the Big Boy Pro. It's the top end, it's a 3500 watt engine in total, 2 engines. And it packs a lot of punch. It's got its own filtering. It's probably one of the most powerful and quiet machines that I've used, and I've stuck by the brand. It's fantastic, and let's actually take it for a spin. Now, on a vehicle like this, as you can see, we have what I spoke about before, sort of the flat types of the water. So it's actually going to be very difficult to just, you know, well, it's going to be not impossible, but difficult just to put a drying towel on and just basically suck up all the water. We don't have a coating on this car, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. The Big Boy should do most of the work for us, and then we can go around and basically pick up the pieces and dry the rest of it. And remember, it's all safely being dried. You know, we're not using a chamois, we're not using these other sort of harder abrasive cottons that will put more swirl marks on your car, okay? And we'll talk a bit about that more once we get into paint correction, but for now, let's hit the Big Boy.
And again, I'm going to start from the top. You can see the puddles of water. It's going to take longer to clean, to dry out the puddles of water. You can see how thick and it's going away a bit more slower than obviously the glass. Look at the glass is just going away. There's a bit more dirt in there. Alright, so there we go. You can just start seeing it drying up now, which is great. When we get to the creases around the glass and the rubbers, we want to stay in there a bit longer just to make sure they're completely dry. So when we see little patches like this, so you can see that, the drying towel will take care of the rest of it, so I'm not really concerned about that. Obviously, drying a car with no coating or no protection is obviously going to take a lot longer in comparison to a car with have protection on it. So I'm going to make my way down the whole top of the car, or the whole top half, I should say. get a lot of water sitting in these seals and also in the mirror. So be sure to spend a bit more time. You can see that's actually dry. What I like to do as well, guys, is also open the door and put it dry inside the seal. Notice as well the big boy's actually got a rubber tip, so even if you do a little bump, it's not going to scratch the paintwork. I always ensure to get the dryer up around the back of the number plate and under this grill here. You always get a bit of water under there. Front grill, you want to spend a bit more time because that will hold a lot of water.
Hey guys, we're back again. So basically I've gone over the vehicle with the big boy dryer, the Pro. And as you can see, it's not completely dry, but even if we span around to the other side, and you can actually see on top of the bonnet, the boot, it's patches of water. Same on the actual roof. Down the sides, it's actually done a pretty great job. Now we're going to take our drying towel. Now, by the way, if you did decide to just dry the car with the drying towel, you'd probably need 2 towels, this size and this thickness. But we probably won't even get this one soaked. So I'm going to go through the drying process now. So we're going to start from the top. We're going to lay down the towel and we're basically going to take it across and dry it, and then just go over it very, very lightly, okay? And as you can see, that's now totally dry, okay? Again, we're going to go over the top and we're going to drag it, dry it, and we're just going to briefly just go over it, okay? So we'll do that same routine for the bonnet, okay? And as you can see, it's quite dry. The light should be picking up any of the little drops. You can see some minor drop marks here that weren't totally dry from the big boy. But this drying towel is doing an amazing job. And as you can see, it's nowhere, you can't actually see any wet patches, okay? So we'll come back to the glass. We'll go over the top of this. Again, try that, and then we'll go down through here. Okay, across on the boots. Go back. We've got a quick dry because there's not much water here, and then we'll come back to the glass. The last moment. So what I'm going to do here, because I don't want to, it's very important to make sure that the towel doesn't touch the ground. So I've folded it and then basically just give it a wipe. As you can see, it's dried it very, very good. No watermarks there, okay? Again, don't worry about the glass. I'll come back to it, okay? So, go over it. Now guys, if you're gonna put a sealant on the car or if you're gonna do some paint correction work, there's another process that we're gonna do after this drying process. So again, obviously dry it and make sure it's pretty well done. But if you're drying it to basically go out to the customer, or you're drying it to go into the garage, you're probably gonna wanna pay more attention than if you were gonna put a sealant on it or spray over like a pre-polishing prep spray, because then you're gonna actually go over the vehicle again. Okay, so as you can see, this side is all dry, and the process doesn't take long at all to dry the vehicle in comparison to a traditional chamois. So I'm just going to go over this, and then we will go over the glass. And again, guys, the glass is one of those things that I like to leave to the end to completely clean it with a glass cleaner and make sure that it is perfect. Not now when we're just doing the drying portion of the vehicle.